Hi, Matthias. Thanks for joining me. You're going to be presenting a workshop at our upcoming Data Governance and Master Data Management Conference Europe. So we'd love to kind of get more information on that. Can you give kind of our viewers a quick overview of who you are and what you do?
Exactly. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. So my name is Mathias Vercauteren. I'm from Belgium. So I'm the president and principal of a company called Data Vantage Consulting. So it's my own firm where I give consulting, advisory, educational data governance services, to big and small companies, helping them set up and implement data governance. I'm also a speaker. So I attended previously here in Washington, the data DGIQ, where I also spoke about data governance. And I'm also a bit of a writer. So I'm working on my first book in which I will cover my own methodology, which I will, be speaking about at the conference.
Great stuff. And so at the upcoming conference, you're going to be running a session which is about the attendees running and designing their own data governance workshops. In your experience, what's the most kind of significant difference between workshops and traditional meetings when it comes to data governance, and why do you believe workshops are kind of a bit more effective?
Yeah. So I'm in the data world now for 13 years now, more than a decade. And what I've noticed, especially in the beginning, is, the only tool I have as a consultant in my backpack is, have meetings with my clients, to come up with the why of doing a data governance program, the definitions of, roles and responsibilities, the definition of, what does client mean. So you have these meetings, but what I noticed that a lot of the meetings I have is with a mix of people, introverts, extroverts. Sometimes these meetings are biased. You have endless debate cycles, so it takes weeks, months to get a decision, to solve a problem. And so that frustrated me, and so I started to look into solutions. And I ended up in more the design sprint and the design thinking, product design world. And then I noticed, the big benefits of conducting proper workshops and using that. Because what does a workshop do instead of a meeting? Within a workshop, you have the typical image of a workshop, post-its you put on a wall, is you visualize actually the conversation that's happening around the table, which already also solves an additional problem of a meeting. Because if you have a meeting, it takes an hour, people have, a limited time span of, giving attention to the conversation. And there are a lot of, biases in place, like a primacy bias and a recency bias, which means that people at the end of a meeting, they tend to just memorize, the first thing that happened and the last thing that happened, but they, forget everything in between, which is, of course, a problem if you, want to make important decisions about, a strategic program like data governance. And so, workshops, or conducting a workshop takes away that bias by visualizing it. And there are also other techniques, to get the more introvert people, engaged in the conversation. And so I noticed by doing these workshops that I get much better decisions in a really shorter amount of time, which now I almost do not do any meetings anymore. I try to do workshops with my clients from the get-go.